Good morning, my love.
Good morning, my love. Happy Valentine's week.
Happy Valentine's week. So we're doing crypto and Valentines. My wife is away. And what a better way to talk about crypto with someone that I love on this very special Valentine's Day. So we were kind of joking around, right? My angel. This is Rowan, by the way. It's my wife. Um, and it was what time was it when I texted you on Valentine's Day?
Very early in the morning.
And what did I do?
You gave me a Bitcoin update Valentine text. And this, my friends, is how our life goes.
So, when you have your spouse in crypto, be gentle with them. They're going down a rabbit hole trying to figure out the new financial system. And it's very difficult. My wife is a healer, she's a counselor. And here I am, like such a tech geek, like totally in the weeds. So I appreciate you so much. What a roller coaster ride you have been with me, right?
It's been really fun. Yeah.
Putting your
Yeah.
full faith in me. I can't even express my gratitude.
I love you.
I love
You're the
you
best
too.
Valentine ever. All bets on you, right? That's what we always say.
That's right. That's right. That's what my wife always says to me. She's like, all bets on you, babe. You always figure this out.
The truth. Yeah. So tell me
Truth.
more about this Bitcoin Valentine explosion. What happened?
So Bitcoin hit 52,000 on Valentine's Day. And I'm sure a lot of people are surprised. And during the summer, Rowan and I went upstate New York, like pretty much we were spent most of our time close to Canada. And I joined the Sackett's Harbor Chamber of Commerce, right? Thanks to your sister who works there. And I was holding meetings and I was talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price was about $20,000.
Fast forward 6 months, and
You know,
tell us
so
what happened. I could probably guess not a lot of people took action.
right. And it's really hard. We were born and raised in America. We have the reserve currency of the world, which I don't think anyone really understands what that means. But because we have the world reserve currency of the world, the people who live in the United States, their quality of life is higher than a lot of other places. And unless you're like a traveler and you travel outside the United States, you really don't understand what that means and how good we've had it up to this point.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of incentive, right? We have such a good life. We don't really think about what could happen.
Right.
So
And then,
tell me how about like how does that relate? Because I found that amazing Halloween costume and Miss America El Salvador dressed in this gorgeous gold lame Bitcoin costume. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You know how I am with my gold. So like tell me more about like how El Salvador is adopting Bitcoin and how that, like could we see something like that here? Like where is it going? And I'm curious about that. And why did she dress like a Bitcoin? Like, why would that be the representation of El Salvador on a
yeah,
international stage?
yeah. So that's such an awesome question. So, a couple of years ago, and this was probably during the last bull cycle, the president of El Salvador had a choice. El Salvador could take a loan from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and when countries are in trouble, the IMF will lend the country money. If you cannot pay back that debt, the IMF will take your assets, your country's assets. So the president of El Salvador was like, we're buying Bitcoin, baby.
Nope.
They bought Bitcoin and now they're out of debt. They cleaned up the whole country. If you were in a gang, if you were a criminal, according to the people on the streets, we got to go to El Salvador and check this out
I'm
one
ready to
day.
go. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to go. So like all the criminals, according to the people who have gone to El Salvador, they're in jail or they're dead. So they're cleaning up the whole entire country. And now because they created a Bitcoin bond, well, now Bitcoin's $52,000 for one Bitcoin, and the country is now out of debt. So El Salvador is emerging into this new financial system, extremely prosperous. The people feel hopeful. They're creating all new things. And it's completely different from like where we're sitting, like in America, and you're in New York, you see how expensive things are. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not even like things are expensive. We need more dollars to pay for the same goods and services.
Right. Yeah, that's exciting.
So I think,
Get tickets.
right. And I just find it so super symbolic that like Miss El Salvador wore a Bitcoin costume because, again, Bitcoin, there's 21 million Bitcoin. No bank, no government, no country. There's no CEO of Bitcoin. Nobody owns Bitcoin. It's a peer-to-peer technology. I can send you Bitcoin. You can send me Bitcoin. We don't have to ask for permission. It's a technological revolution that people just don't understand. But when Bitcoin goes to 20,000 to 50,000, you really should start paying
Start
attention.
understanding.
Right. Or have
Yeah.
someone in your family to understand.
Right.
Like I'm not expecting you to understand the ins and outs. You know what I mean? Like you're in the world, you are a force to be reckoned with. But, for me, like I spent a lot of my career as an IT recruiter. I understand technology. Most of my clients were Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. I understand finance, put the two together, and my mind gets blown, and everyone around me is like, what are you talking about?
Right. That reminds me of, when we first kind of got into this, and I wonder if we can take a little Valentine trip down memory lane. Do you remember when I came home from work and I was working as the integrative health director in that acute mental health crisis center, right? And I came home from work and one of my coworkers said, hey, you and your wife should check out like this crypto thing that's starting to happen. It's a pretty big deal. And it was like, we worked late at night. I remember it was a Tuesday night. It was probably like 11 o'clock at night when I had that conversation with him. And I came home and told you. And that's kind of when we started really looking into it, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because I heard about Bitcoin when I was still living in the Northeast and I just ignored it. Like I was like, I don't know what this Bitcoin is. But when you came home and we actually did the research, and I was like, wow, like this kind of makes sense. But it's interesting. Like we invested in it. I got a Trezor hardware wallet. You saw my anxiety. There was
Yeah.
no one, there was no one, right, hon? There
You
was
were
no one
pacing.
right. I was pacing around the house. We're sending our Bitcoin and Ethereum into like Cyberland.
Mhm.
And there was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you transfer your coins from like a centralized exchange? And how do you become your own bank? Which is exactly why this is what I do now,
You figured
you
it
know,
out.
and I
Yeah.
help people become their own bank, how to get money outside the system in case, I don't know, maybe one day the world goes crazy and we have a global shutdown.
Maybe one day, someday.
Someday, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Shout out to Ben, because he's working in the crypto spaces now, right?
that's right. He works at
Like,
Kraken.
yeah, 10 years later. Yeah. Very cool.
So, I mean, that's just so cool. So it was just such a good way to be like, wow, XRP is cross-border payments. It makes really sense. But like, again, back in 2017, a lot of this was theory. It was like a pilot program of wow, this could disrupt our current system, but it wasn't at the time. But back in 2020, you know, when we had to stay home, right? Again, what was the first initial reaction? We both did. You jumped on research 24/7 about the medical industry. I was 24/7 into the World Economic Forum, listening to that creepy guy, Klaus Schwab. And he's like, now is the time for the fourth industrial revolution. And like, I was like, oh my God, we're moving to the blockchain.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're pushing us into artificial intelligence, machine learning. And I know, again, it was still kind of esoteric, but now we're actually seeing this in reality. Like you sent me that video when you went to you had a layover a couple of times in the Charlotte International Airport.
Right.
Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, so there's a like a little kiosk. Well, it's not a kiosk. It's like a little shop, right? Like airport stuff, snacks and magazines and things. And you walk through you kind of like walk through this gateway and it's completely unmanned. There's no people working there. There's almost like a hologram of a woman that stands at the edge and talks about like, hey, come on in. And it's really creepy. And then you get in there and you can like buy your nuts and your water or whatever. And it's all there's no people there. It's just a self-driven, you check out with your card and then you walk through another little gate to get out. So it
Right.
reminds me of, jumping the turnstile. Like you still have to pay even if you jump the turnstile.
You still, right? Yeah. Please pay. I've made that mistake when I
Don't
was
jump the
younger.
turnstile. Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
So,
so
but
yeah,
again,
I am seeing a lot of that kind of thing, like just automation. There's so many places now that they don't even take cash. Like they're not even
right.
allowed.
So as we move to a cashless society and, we see a lot of like senators and just a lot of people in the government, like they're pro a central bank digital currency that's programmatical, right? So they program the money into your account. They can take it out.
Programmatical. Is that like
I don't
that's
even know if that's a
fancy?
word.
I
I
love
made that
it.
up. Programmatical.
Speaking of which, do you remember when we first met? We're going to go down Valentine memory lane again. So when we first met, I dressed up as like for Halloween because that's right when we met. I dressed up as a literary genre, and I just wanted to throw that in because the programmatical, it's that's fancy. I love it. Oh, do you remember also when we first met that we were talking about this game that we played and like who's your celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Do you remember who I said?
Susie Orman.
I mean, did I win the love lottery or what? Like you are so much sexier than Susie Orman. Thank you. And the mind, it's like I was so turned on to finance and the like education and literary finance is so important to me. Like understanding the wording and the languaging of how we can move into prosperity and abundance. And it's always kind of been interesting to me. But then crypto like takes it to a whole nother level because it's not just dollar to dollar, right? Like this has use cases and really interesting projects, and it has the ability to like change the world. Like you're saying, like El Salvador is a more peaceful place in
Yeah.
large part because of Bitcoin. So yeah, I want to know more about that. Like, tell me more about like the projects that you feel like are the most peaceful, world peace inducing.
So I think that for now, Bitcoin is definitely number one when it comes to peace. So when we think about what's going on in the United States, so we have the world reserve currency, we can print money. That's like one of the gifts that we get for being the world reserve currency. So basically what we do is, oh, we want to go to war with Iran, Afghanistan, or, whatever it is, we just print the money out of thin air and we send it to these countries. With Bitcoin, you can't print more Bitcoin. There's 21 million Bitcoin. You cannot print more Bitcoin to fund these wars. So in essence, you can say Bitcoin is peace.
Mm. Bitcoin is Valentines, peace. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and
So,
also like, I mean, kind of along the same lines, like, why do people think Bitcoin is bad for the environment? Like, how can Bitcoin bring environmental peace?
oh, I love that question because I just posted something in our private Telegram group yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
Didn't.
Okay, so this is so cool. So again, I just want to, I mean, and honey, you've been every day. I feel so bad, but we both work from home. And so when I get excited, I want to run to my coworker and be like, yeah, right? So,
And I'm like, yeah, this water cooler is like, we have some really crazy conversations at the water cooler in our house.
right, right. But the thing is like, so I've talked over and over again how Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin can stabilize our energy grid, right? Because there's all this
Right.
talk about us being in an energy crisis. Bitcoin can actually stabilize the energy grid. We're burning that excess shale when we make oil to heat our homes, to put gas in our cars. That excess shale just goes out into the atmosphere. But now through this technology, you take that excess shale and now you're the Bitcoin miners are using that to mine for Bitcoin, which is lowering the emissions that are going out into our atmosphere. Here's another example that just happens, right?
Okay.
Besides the fact that we're going to be bringing, heat and cool like AC to houses, because this is also happening.
Well,
But
that's happening in Canada, right?
yeah, so
Already?
yeah,
Yeah.
so northern Vancouver, this
Yeah.
small town is running completely off of Bitcoin miners. You don't hear the government talking about this. You don't hear anybody in the media talking about this because they don't want average people to become part of this big transfer of wealth that's going on right now. But so there's a tulip farm, a tulip greenhouse farm, and they have all these Bitcoin miners, and they're all wearing Bitcoin shirts, and they're actually using the heat to generate like enough heat to grow the tulips in the farm
In a
and
greenhouse?
in a greenhouse.
Wow. Is this in a cold country, I imagine, like Sweden?
It didn't. I looked like it was in the United States. It didn't say
Oh,
like where they were from, but if I can pull it, I'll put it in the link in the
cool.
podcast so everybody can see. Because it's one thing to hear about it, but when you actually see like how the process works, none of us really understand like Bitcoin mining, like electricity.
Right.
You flip the switch, the light
Right.
goes on. Let's
Right.
just stick with that, right? The Bitcoin miners figure it out, and again, it's actually going to be a green technology, even though it's so energy intensive. But that energy that's tied to Bitcoin also equals freedom. We pay for the market price, right? So, we still live in a capitalistic society, somewhat, we'll see. But like, this again is just like we can have freedom, like of energy, really,
Yeah.
and to be able to do peer-to-peer transactions without being censored is going to be, and
Amazing.
it is in a lot of countries, so essential. When you look at these tyrannical governments and you look at what they're doing to their currency, everyone always switches over to Bitcoin immediately. Argentina, Turkey, El Salvador, Cuba,
Mm,
anybody that has high inflation, they're starting to use Bitcoin. And it's still, Bitcoin's an adolescent. It's about 15 years old. It's not accepted everywhere, but it's going to be.
totally. So yeah, I mean, at this stage in the game, like there's obvious use cases, there's obvious ways that we're seeing the benefit, right? We're talking like energy and earth, world peace, like these kinds of things. Like, what do you say to someone who says, Ooh, I don't know. Bitcoin's a scam. You know, we've all been told that so many times. I think it's really hard to unprogram or
Right.
deprogram ourselves from that messaging. And
Right.
you know, yeah, I mean, so many people are still there. What do you say to those folks?
Yeah, I'm getting to a point right now, baby. Like I'm starting to get, you know me, I'm getting a little fired up.
Yeah.
So when someone asks me, I mean, I don't know what this is what I want to say. Okay. I don't know if I would actually say this, but if someone says Bitcoin is a scam, I don't trust it. I want to say, really? What did you learn when you read Bitcoin's white paper?
Hmm. Yeah.
Who is the BIS? Who is the IMF? Who's the treasurer of the United States government? Who is the president of our central bank? Tell me about Jerome Powell. Because I'm telling you, baby, no one knows this.
I know.
So look, I'm not a plumber. When Matt says, hey, you guys have to do this, we trust him. He's the plumber.
Yep.
He's into plumbing 24/7. I'm into crypto 24/7. I'm encouraging people to do research. A really good way to start is it's 9 pages. Read the Bitcoin white paper. Get educated. Don't say you have a feeling, okay? Because the thing is, the world shut down.
My job. It's not your job.
If you have feelings, reach out to my wife. She'll process them with you and she'll love it.
Oh, that's funny.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, we never learned about money in
Right.
high school, in college, like, unless you were like, went to school for business, which most people don't. And even people who go to school for business, we had a financial advisor just reach out to you on LinkedIn. And what
Yeah.
did he say? And this was what? Last week.
Last
What
week.
did,
Yeah, he wanted to know if I wanted to work with him. He said, "Hey, you know, I'm here in Florida too." And I reached back out and I said, "Great, like tell me more about how what company was it again? I'm sorry, I'm not remembering. It
something,
wasn't
Edwards?
yeah, some investment. I
Yeah,
don't know. Anyway,
financial analyst. Yeah.
anyways,
Or an
yeah, I
advisor,
said, "Tell me
financial
more about
advisor.
how you're getting involved in crypto." And he said, "Oh, we're not, and I don't think we ever will." That was that, you know, that's
Right.
the period at the end of the sentence. That's like I mean, that's like a death. I just see that. My first response was to respond, you know, like, are you saying that your company's going out of business? Like, but I didn't respond. I don't know what to
Yeah.
say at this point. Yeah. I
So, and
should
it's
maybe attach the white paper and send it.
right. And it's so interesting, right? Because, again, we have the largest asset managers, BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, ARK Investments, Franklin Templeton, and 12 other asset management companies that are worth over $17 trillion have now launched this spot Bitcoin ETF. We have about $500 million lately every single day flowing into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is above $52,000 now.
Yeah.
These little financial advisors, they're not educated yet. We are at the beginning.
Right.
And so when I hear how
Right.
uneducated people are, I get excited
Even the most
because,
educated, right?
but again,
You
it's
get
like,
excited because what? Sorry, I interrupted you, honey.
oh no, I get excited because we're at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of the bull run. They haven't read the 28-page paper that Fidelity has on their website.
Yeah.
Like BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK Investments, Invesco, Bitwise, like they're
Yeah.
all getting this information out to people because it is a new asset class. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, cryptocurrency is a flight to safety. I
Interesting.
mean, what do we think is going to happen?
Right.
So when I see Bitcoin, when I'm running around like New York all summer, like, Bitcoin's $20,000, right?
Yeah. A for
The
effort.
right? A for effort. And again, congratulations to everyone who did the research, because once you research Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you invest in it because you understand, holy cow, we're building the internet of value. We have the internet now. We share information back and forth. We email each other. We make blogs. We make videos. We could share all this information. But now I can send you Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, all through the internet, all value. And we're just getting started for mass adoption.
I love it. I love it. Big things
So,
ahead. I have another funny, well, first of all, I wanted to say we've talked about gold. We've talked about flowers. So I think we have to talk about chocolate since it's Valentine's week. And I wanted to share something with you about, it has nothing to do with chocolate, but I asked ChatGPT last night, what should I say if my financial advisor thinks crypto is a scam?
oh, nice.
All right.
Okay,
So,
ChatGPT is going to educate us. Let's go, baby. I love it.
ChatGPT was like my only coworker for like 10 months. And so I've learned how to talk with ChatGPT in a really fun way. Okay, if your financial advisor believes crypto is a scam, but you see that it's increasing adoption globally, you could respond in a respectful and informed manner by saying, I understand that there are concerns and skepticism around cryptocurrency. I appreciate your perspective. ChatGPT is so nice. However, it's important to acknowledge that while there have been instances of fraud and volatility in the crypto market, it is also true that major institutions, governments, and businesses are increasingly adopting blockchain technology and integrating cryptocurrencies into their operations. Can we continue to talk about that? For example, countries like El Salvador have adopted Bitcoin as legal tender, and companies like Tesla and PayPal are accepting cryptocurrencies as payment. Additionally, central banks are exploring the potential of digital currencies, and major financial institutions are investing in blockchain technology. I believe that dismissing crypto entirely might overlook the significant opportunities it presents for diversification and innovation in the financial landscapes ahead. Go ChatGPT. So I think we should all take a note from that and send that to our financial advisors, especially the ones that say it's a scam.
Absolutely.
I think it's
Absolutely.
time, right? We have to start challenging.
Right. And we have to take personal responsibility to make our lives better for our family, for our friends, all the people that we love, because now is the time. Because remember during the last bull run, like there would be some mornings I would wake up and I'd be like crying, right?
I remember. And the thing is with Andrea, maybe y'all don't know, but she only cries happy tears.
I do. I know.
I don't think I've ever seen you cry like angry or sad tears. Maybe some
Yeah.
sad ones, but yeah, you cry happy tears way more than I do.
And like, so again, thanks, baby.
And you're doing it right now.
I know, totally am. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my eyes. I'm gonna wipe. Well, it's like you're a beauty. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, so like miss you. Right?
Less than a week. I know. I'm so excited to see you.
I know. So and again, I mean, I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm encouraging people to step out of line and do some research.
Right.
Because inflation numbers came out on Wednesday and inflation is running high again. So as inflation rises, so does the price of Bitcoin.
Right.
Bitcoin was created for this time, right? The dollar is not gaining strength. It's losing strength. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is gaining strength and it's here to stay. And now we're starting to see more like mass adoption on its way. So a lot of times I always tell people, be your own bank. Like
Right.
people have like, you can have an app on your phone and you download it and then you can hold your crypto on just an app for free. Or you can, purchase a hardware wallet, which is way more secure, right? So you have a device to send crypto off. But now Visa just signed a deal
Mm.
with MetaMask, Ledger, Trust Wallet,
Wow.
okay, prepaid debit cards that we could take our crypto, put it on a prepaid debit card, and go purchase your goods and services. This isn't going away. This is the new financial economy.
Interesting. So how do you explain them though? Like there's like an on and off ramp with that being Visa because they're centralized, obviously.
I know,
So choke points, talk more about that.
right? You're so smart, right?
I have a
So,
very good teacher.
so let's just say we have our money at Bank of America. We have our money on a centralized exchange, right? Like Coinbase. We have our money, like on a Visa card. Those are all centralized. They can be considered choke points. They can freeze your funds. People in Canada that weren't okay with what was going on, they froze their funds. Really good way to control the population.
Yep.
So I'm going to pose this to everybody listening. We don't need Visa. The point of cryptocurrency is for peer-to-peer transactions without third-party intermediaries. If I have a trust app, all I have to do is take my phone, put in my code for my app, and I can pay for my good. We don't need Visa, but this is part of the process. And
Because
we have
people
to
are
go,
comfortable with Visa, so they're going to go this way.
and centralized companies are not going to give up their
Right.
control and their power.
Right.
So, this is kind of this is like where we're at, but we are making strides. And eventually, I believe, like we're entering into the age of Aquarius, we are the 99%. So if it gets to a point where it gets too invasive, people will always figure it out. And it already is figured out. We just have to start doing it.
Right. 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 Yeah. We cut out the middleman if we're smart enough to know to do that. Yeah.
Right. We don't need middlemen anymore.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
cool.
That is cool. I love it.
I
I
love
feel
it
like we were
too.
going to talk about, I love you too. I feel like we were going to talk about a couple of other things and I'm drawing a blank of what they are, but I wanted to come back around to this chocolate thing because I was looking for a Valentine for you and they make so many cryptocurrency coin chocolates now that like you could get
Wow.
a bag of Bitcoin chocolate gold, like little candies, and they make them in all different um, coins. It's like
That is so
so
cool.
fun. I know.
That's
I didn't want
awesome.
to send you yucky chocolate, but I thought that would be really fun.
Yeah, it's got to be dark chocolate and vegan. Come
Gotta be perfect chocolate.
on. I love it.
We're not messing around.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, one other question I did have, I wanted to ask you. So I know that we've like given where like my head is always at around like grounding and calming and nature and like how do you like what would you say to people that are out there that are kind of feeling like a little ungrounded around this time, especially as like things are shooting up and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around it, but also a lot of anxiety, and like how would you suggest to people to stay grounded in like this process that is not fast?
Right. So what I usually tell people, especially people who come to class every week, is take breaks. Turn off crypto. I know it's hard for me, right? But like turn it off. Stop listening to the podcast. Kick your shoes off, take your socks off, ground in the earth, go for walks, look at the trees, because our world is going to change very quickly. Like remember what I always say to you? AI is going to change everything, everywhere, all at once. And,
Right.
I see things like the Lyft drivers are going on strike. Oh, driverless cars are about to become mass adopted everywhere, all at once. And I
Yeah.
see this happening, and it's just like, but again, it's like, I just take your time. We do classes here every single month. They're $10. Bring your questions, right? I think when's the next one, babe? I think February
24th.
24th. Yeah,
Yep.
February 24th. I can't make it any cheaper, y'all. It's like $10. It's like a donation. Like, I'm doing this because it's like the wealthy people will become more wealthy. And I want everyone to be part of this wealth transformation. And you know what I mean?
You've always been that way. Since the moment we
Always.
met, you've always been like the most generous person I think I've ever known. Like I even was talking about that last night. Like you're so diplomatic. Like if I get 10, you get 10. Like it's very even. And
You
I
would
can
think I was a
honestly
socialist.
say, no, I would not.
That's true.
But yeah, yeah. If anyone out there has ever wondered if Andrea is fair, I can assure you it's a very sweet way to live. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you too.
You're very
So
welcome.
yeah, so I mean, and then again, I think like, kind of like connecting, we have a member here, her name is Kim Hughes. If you are overwhelmed, right? You can reach out to Kim. I think, let me, I'll add her link and her picture. Her name is Kim Hughes, and kind of like her tagline is, in these strange times, you must follow your sacred heart. Kim is my go-to person. Have someone that you can call. Like Rowan, like we have jokes. Like I talked to someone in our group. She's my crypto wife. We bounce ideas off of each other. Have someone you can go to if you're walking down the streets in Portland and you see this AI security guard and you're like, what is going on? Pick up the phone and we need to have like person to person, we need this humanism. We need to bring back human-centered approaches
Right.
because we're entering into a mixed reality world. Whether we want this or not, people would be like, no, no, I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what we want.
It's all around us already.
It's all around us already, right? So do you have Kim's
Yeah, it's sacredselfliving.net.
I love it. And it's kind of like soul coaching she guides you to become your highest self, right? To connect with your higher self. And she's my go-to. I mean, I just love her. We should always have someone outside our partner. Like I always like, I appreciate you so much, but I am aware of how this is intense and it's getting better now, right? We're in a bull market. And things are different when you're making money. but
Yeah, I'm
and
curious, honey, what do you think I hear when you talk? Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, okay. Just so we're on the same page. No, I really do learn a lot. I'm always interested.
And when I talk to you and it's too much, you start to sign, with
Ooh,
me. Be like, baby, you know what this sounds like? And you start your sign language. So I get
it's
it.
true. It's a foreign language. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And again, I want to just make a mention. This is an election year. The people in our government are not putting the people first. I'm in this 24/7, blue, red, purple. I don't care. The government does not care about us. We all need to get a VPN. We need to start to pay for the security, right? A virtual private network. We need to protect ourselves for freedom of speech. So Computer Diva with Mary Berger, these are our sponsors. We don't promote projects. We're not here to pump and dump. we're here to help everyone become your own bank.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not,
We're trying to have fun while we do it.
exactly. We're having fun. Everyone become your own bank. Protect yourself as much as you can. And we have we have Mary Berger with Computer Diva, computerdiva.biz link will also be, below. So, again, in trying times, let's just build our network. Let's get as protected as we can, and let's have some fun because, babe, this is going to be some year.
I can't wait. Cheers, honey.
Cheers. Cheers. All right. So as we wrap up, you know how I like to end the show.
I do. I even got you a little personalized cup for this. Yeah.
Yes, but I have the cup that Hope got you. I got the
Oh,
mermaid today.
I love it. Well, all right, friends. This has been fun. I love you so much, honey. Happy Valentine's week.
Yep. Until next week, honey, what are we going to do?
We're gonna huddle on.
Huddle on, everybody.